Welcome back. We're here back in the kitchen. I have a special treat today. We're making a cheesy keto popcorn. And why do I do these little air quotes? Because there's no cheese and there's no popcorn. And for our Precision PSMF group, I'm calling this okay to have on PSMF days. You just don't eat the whole recipe. So we're starting off with 3 egg whites. And we're going to beat them to a stiff peak, but in there we're also adding 1/4 teaspoon of gelatin, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 12 grams of egg white powder. So we add all this together and we're going to beat this to a stiff peak. While I'm beating the egg whites, I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of butter extract. It will give it the buttery flavor without the dairy, without the fat, without the calories. You can put as much or as little as you want, and you don't have to use it at all if you don't want to. That looks good. Now I'm going to add the nutritional yeast. And at first I tried blending this in by hand and it just wasn't working. So now I'll beat it. And if you taste the batter at this point, it tastes really good. I take a parchment paper lined baking sheet. And I have my oven is preheating to 250 degrees. I didn't need that spoon anyway. So what you're gonna do is take a spoonful and put it on the parchment. I tried doing this with a cookie scoop and it just made them too big. It didn't like it. Maybe I'll try looking for a smaller cookie scoop. So I say about a teaspoon, but actually a really heaping teaspoon. It might be more like a tablespoon. First time I made this, I made 48. Last time I made this, I made 41. So it's just an approximation. And you don't have to worry about them being spaced close together since they're not going to spread. And if they do touch each other, they separate easily. They don't have to look perfect. That's the thing about this. You don't want them to look perfect because popcorn doesn't look perfect. It's all these nooks and crannies and odd shapes. So now these are going into a 250 degree oven for 30 minutes. So I'm putting them in the oven and I'll be back in 30 minutes and you just wait and see. These just came out of the oven. They were in there for 30 minutes at 250 degrees. It's best to let them cool before you try them. However, sometimes you just can't wait. So I'm going to try one. They're warm, so they're still a little soft, but I made these. This is my 3rd batch. I've made them twice before. If you can see, the 2 different kinds. This one, I baked at a higher temperature for longer. It was overcooked. This one, I baked for the 250 degrees for 30 minutes and it was perfect. And tastes very good. So you store them in an airtight container or a Ziploc bag. I would suggest putting one of these silica to keep the moisture out. I bought those on Amazon. I'll put a link to it. So again, once these cool completely, they will be crunchy like those. And again, depending on how many you make, they're about 1/4 carb each. So 4 to 5 of these is 1 carb. That's why I'm saying for my Precision PSMF group, you can have these if you have 4 or 5 of them. If you ate the whole thing, it's 10 grams of carbs. So on a non-PSMF day, you just want to munch out, and these are the only carbs of your day. Eat the whole thing. The carbs come from the nutritional yeast. So these are so good. Next movie night with the family, if they're eating popcorn, have your little keto popcorn treats.